in Malaysia and Germany. Our ester plant in Germany is one of the exclusive few in the world which is both GMP certified and US FDA approved to produce chemical ingredients for pharmaceutical application. IOI is also a major global player in specialty oils and fats with operations in the Netherlands, United States, Canada, Ghana, China and Malaysia that are carried out by its associate company Bangi Lotus Krokland. Leveraging on its more than 120-year-old history, expertise in lipid solutions and state-of-the-art facilities, Bangi Lotus Krokland delivers reliable and quality products for the global food and infant formula manufacturing industry. IOI believes in the transformative power of technology and progressively invests into research and development to enhance our commitment to quality. IOI Palm Biotech has spearheaded planting material improvements for nearly 3 decades. Its tissue culture laboratory is leading research in high-yielding oil palm clones, boosting its plantation productivity through biotechnology. Continuing our commitment towards R&D and innovation, our downstream manufacturing business has formed collaborations with world-class partners who value our expertise and know-how. Together, we work to create customized and value-added solutions for our clients in unique and specialized settings, such as our creative studios. IOI is led by a loyal workforce from more than 25 countries who strive daily to increase value add and deliver results for our customers and shareholders. Across every division and country in which we operate, we value and promote diversity among our employees. At every level, we are committed to developing our personnel by fostering a healthy learning environment and promoting their career advancement. As a responsible corporation, IOI is mindful of our corporate responsibilities towards our stakeholders and the community. We take pride in our long tradition of implementing sustainable and sound agronomic practices. We also make efficient use of natural resources and minimize the environmental impact of our operational activities through various energy-efficient and waste reduction measures. As a founding member of the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, IOI leads the way in adhering to the highest standards for sustainable palm oil production and in promoting the use of sustainable palm oil around the world. We also strive to build a reliable and traceable palm oil supply chain for the benefit of our customers across the globe. Our consistent efforts in sustainability and good management practices have been well recognized in the industry and accorded many prestigious accolades. While we have made great strides in growing our business in a sustainable and responsible way, we believe in continuing and increasing our efforts towards excellence in everything we do. We strive for a future where IOI steadily expands its reach and increases its value add. A future where we continue to be a crucial presence in the daily lives of people around the world. Fulfilling our purpose for leadership and excellence, we intend to conquer new horizons and forge a better and brighter future for our group.
AGM at Convene allows you to fully participate in the meeting anywhere you are. Let's get started. For questions, select Ask a Question. Click Type your question. Here's how to vote. Cast your vote on the desired option. Select Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to change your vote, click on Cancel Vote and vote again. Need some extra help? Simply select Contact Support and chat with our help desk to talk to our friendly team.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the board, I welcome you to the 53rd hybrid AGM of IOI Corporation Berhad, which is held in compliance with Section 327 of the Companies Act 2016 and Article 70 of the company's constitution. The conduct of this hybrid AGM is also in accordance with the guidance note on the conduct of general meetings for listed issuers issued by the Securities Commission Malaysia. In view of the easing of the COVID-19 related safety measures and the transition to the endemic stage in our country, your board has decided for the 53rd AGM to be conducted both physically and virtually in order to provide an effective engagement with our shareholders. Nevertheless, shareholders and proxies who have symptoms of COVID-19 are strongly advised to utilize the remote participation and electronic voting facilities for the sake of our shareholders and our employees' safety. I wish to thank all of you for your presence at this 53rd AGM and your continuous support for the company. Together with all my fellow directors, we are pleased to be able to connect with you and answer any queries that you may have relating to the company and the agenda of today's meeting. Before we proceed with the business of this AGM, I will explain the conduct of the meeting today. We will start by putting forth all the resolutions. After all agenda items have been tabled, we will proceed to present our responses to the queries received from the Minority Shareholders Watch Group. After that, we will move on to the question and answer session to address questions related to the agenda items and resolutions tabled for approval at this meeting. We will first address questions from the shareholders tuning in online, followed by questions from the floor. The voting sessions will be open at a time which I will announce later during this meeting. Once the voting session is open, you may vote at any time during the meeting proceedings until the completion of the question and answer session. We will try our level best to answer all questions submitted to us. For questions which are related or similar in nature, we will group the questions and provide a single response. For those present at the physical meeting venue today, kindly switch off your mobile phones or set it on silent mode. This is to ensure smooth proceedings at this AGM. Please be informed that any form of photography or recording of video or audio by shareholders or proxies throughout this meeting is strictly prohibited. An official video recording of this AGM will be uploaded onto our website for public viewing. Before proceeding with the agenda for today's meeting, let me introduce my fellow directors and members of senior management in attendance today. With me, from my far left, on the first row at this meeting venue, are our independent non-executive director, Dato' Karan, and the Company Secretary, Mr. Vincent Tan. On my immediate right, we have our Group Managing Director and Chief Executive, Dato' Lee Yao Cho. And on the right of Dato' Lee, Independent Non-Executive Director Tan Sri Dr. Rahmat Bibi, and Independent Non-Executive Director Dato' Kong Soy Lin. On the second row, starting from my left, we have our non-independent, non-executive director, Mr. Chia Tek Kwang. Independent non-executive director, Dr. Nisa Durai Kalaniti. Non-independent non-executive director, Mr. Lee Yao Seng. And followed by Mr. Kong Kian Beng, our Group Chief Financial Officer. Also present at this meeting venue are the Audit Engagement Partner, Mr. Tan Seng Chun, and Audit Director, Mr. Wong Wen Ping. Both of them are from BDO PLT. They will be available to answer any questions relating to their auditor's report later on. Ladies and gentlemen, following our recent Bursa Malaysia's announcement, the board wishes to announce that Dato' Karu Karan, our independent non-executive director, who will be retiring from the board after being with us for 11 years. His retirement, which will take effect upon conclusion of today's AGM, is to comply with the recent amendments to the main market listing requirements of Bursa Malaysia, where the tenure of an independent director shall not exceed 12 years. Dato' Karan had been a valuable member of the board. During his stint as chairman of the Audit and Risk Management Committee, as well as a member of the Governance, Nominating and Remuneration Committee, he had been honest in expressing his views and actively participated in the board deliberations and decision making. Not only that, the board and senior management team had benefited greatly from Dato' Karan's advice, even as he remains independent in discharging his duties. So without further ado, let me invite Dato' Karan to say a few words to our shareholders at this AGM.
Good morning. Thank you, Tan Sri Chairman, for your kind words. Well, I joined this board at the invitation of the late Tan Sri Lee in 2011. It has been a great honor and pleasure to serve this esteemed company, which has a great track record of performance and shareholder returns. I must also express my gratitude to the shareholders, both institutional shareholders and ordinary shareholders, for your support throughout my career in IOI. My thanks also goes to MSWG, who are always present at these AGMs and raise questions for and contribute to the deliberations of the AGM. The board and management that I've been with are a very dedicated team, a strong management team, and I'm sure they'll ensure that the company will continue to perform admirably in a sustainable way, which is now the current theme, and that they will ensure shareholders' returns as expected by shareholders. With that, I also like to thank the board for your support, management for your support, and wish you all the very best and many more good years of good performance and shareholder returns. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dato' Karu. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now move on with the proceedings of this meeting. Before we proceed any further, I shall now call upon the company's secretary, Mr. Vincent Tan, to confirm if there is a quorum to proceed with today's meeting.
Thank you, Tan Sri Peter, Chairman. I wish to inform that under Article 65 of the company's constitutions, the quorum necessary for the transactions of business at the general meeting shall be 2 shareholders present personally or by proxy or by corporate representative entitled to vote. This morning, we have total approximately 250 shareholders present online and physically. With that, I'm pleased to confirm that the presence of the requisite quorum as at the commencement of this AGM.
Thank you, Vincent. I shall now call the meeting or this AGM to order. Ladies and gentlemen, the notice of AGM has been issued and published within the stipulated time and advertised in the New Straits Times. If there are no objections, we shall take the notice as read. In my capacity as chairman of the meeting, I have been appointed as proxy by some shareholders, and hence I will be voting in accordance with their instructions. In compliance with the main market listing requirements of Bursa Malaysia, all ordinary resolutions set out in the notice of the AGM will be voted by poll. Therefore, as chairman of the meeting, I hereby demand a poll to be taken on all the resolutions pursuant to Article 73 of the company's constitution. Our poll administrator, KPMG Management and Risk Consulting Sdn Berhad, will conduct the electronic polling. And Sky Corporate Services Sdn Berhad will act as independent scrutineers to validate the votes cast at this meeting. The representative of KPMG will now conduct a presentation on the poll procedures and functions available within the convened AGM online portal.
Thank you, Tan Sri Chairman. Good morning to IOI Corporation Berhad Board of Directors, shareholders and proxies. I'm the poll administrator appointed to provide electronic poll voting services at this meeting. I will now explain the process for the electronic poll voting. During registration this morning, we had asked you to scan a personalized QR code. The QR code is unique for each attendee. They contain information about you and your voting entitlement. Once you have signed in, you should see your name at the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can use Convene AGM meeting platform to ask questions, vote, and watch the live webcast. Do not play the live webcast if you are seated inside Millennium Ballroom 1. However, should you need to leave the ballroom, you can click the live webcast to follow the AGM proceedings from outside. If you have accidentally closed the browser or unable to get back to the meeting platform, please head to the back of the hall near the exit and approach the help desk team for assistance. Alternatively, you can put up your hand and one of us will come to you. As soon as poll opens, you should be able to see the voting options. There are 9 resolutions for voting. Make sure you receive a message showing voted successfully before moving to the next resolution. If you are representing multiple proxies, you may vote for each of them separately or cast all your votes on your selected option. You may change your vote at any time while the poll is open by simply clicking on the cancel button and resubmit your option. Once the poll has ended or after voting, you can log out from Convene AGM by clicking on your name at the top right-hand corner of the screen and select Sign Out. To summarize, we shall now play a short video clip.
AGM at Convene allows you to fully participate in the meeting anywhere you are. Let's get started. For questions, select Ask a Question. Click Type your question. Here's how to vote. Cast your vote on the desired option. Select Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to change your vote, click on Cancel Vote and vote again. Need some extra help? Simply select Contact Support and chat with our help desk to talk to our friendly team.
This concludes my presentation. If you want to connect to the available Wi-Fi here inside Ballroom 1, please look for Wi-Fi name Le Meridian. I will now hand back the meeting to Tan Sri Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much, KPMG. The voting period is now open for you to cast your votes. Please note that voting can be done at any time during the meeting proceedings until the completion of the question and answer session. For those tuning in online, you may submit your questions during the course of this AGM by clicking on the by clicking on the Ask a Question button at the bottom of your webcast screen. Questions can be submitted at any time during the announcement of the closure of the question and answer session. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will now present our company's financial performance for the financial year ended 30th June 2022. Allow me to invite our Group CFO, Mr. Kong Kian Beng, to conduct this presentation.
Thank you, Tan Sri Chairman, and good morning to all. I now present to you IOI Corporation Berhad's 2022 summary financial results. FY 2022 revenue increased by 38% to 15.6 billion ringgit, due primarily to higher commodity prices, partially offset by lower sales volume. Profit before tax for FY 22 increased by 35% to 2.35 billion ringgit. Excluding the fair values and non-operating items, the underlying profit before tax stood at 2.55 billion ringgit, a 67% increase over last financial year. The increase was mainly due to higher plantation and resource-based manufacturing profits. Profit after tax for FY22 was at 1.77 billion, up 25% from FY21. The FY22 EPS was at 27.7 cents per share. For FY22 segmental profit, plantation business contributed 79% of the total segment profit, an increased contribution compared to FY21, which contributed 64%. FY22 plantation segment profit increased by 72% to 2.08 billion ringgit. The higher profit was mainly due to higher CPO and PK prices and higher share of associate results, partially offset by lower FFB productions. Average CPO price for FY22 was at 4,688 ringgit per metric ton, a 30% increase over FY21 prices. FY22 FFB production recorded a 6.5% reduction. The reduction was due mainly to worker shortage and also the effects of the group's accelerated replanting activities in Sabah region over the last 4 years. FY22 resource-based manufacturing profit decreased by 20% over FY21 profits. The lower profits was mainly due to lower share of associate results from Bangi Lugas Crockland or BLC. BLC FY21 results included a share of disposal gain amounting 268 million ringgit from the sale of its refinery facilities. By excluding the fair values and the non-operating items, the FY22 underlying profits for RBM was at 561 million ringgit, a 32% increase over FY21 underlying profits. The higher underlying profits was mainly due to higher margins from oleochemicals and refinery subsegment. These higher margins were achieved mainly due to pent-up demand as most economies enters into endemic phase of the COVID-19 infections. The Group FY22 balance sheet remains strong. The Group has high level of liquidity with cash and cash equivalents of 2.6 billion ringgit and a low net gearing ratio of 0.23, which is an improvement over FY21. For capital expenditure, in total, the Group spent 446 million ringgit in FY22, a 9% increase over FY21. The increase in capex is mainly due to construction of a new palm wood factory. For dividend, the Group has declared in total 14 cents per share for FY22 with a total dividend payout of 870 million ringgit. In addition, the Group has also spent 134 million ringgit for share buyback with an average purchase price of 3.75 ringgit a share. This is the end of my presentation. I now pass the mic back to Tan Sri Chairman for him to conduct the rest of the meeting's agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. KB Kong. Without further ado, let us now proceed with the agenda of today's AGM. The first item on the agenda is to receive the audited financial statements for the financial year ended 30th June 2022 and the reports of the directors and auditors thereon. The audited financial statements are laid in accordance with Section 340 of the Companies Act 2016. As this item is for discussion only and do not require shareholders' approval, it would not be put forward for voting. Summary of the Group's financial overview and performance highlights for financial year 2022 are set out on pages 54 to 62 of the annual report. The business review of our operations is outlined on pages 65 to 80 of the annual report. For shareholders who are keen to read more about our group's sustainability matters, you may refer to our standalone sustainability report, which is made available on our website. We wish to inform once again that the question and answer session will be held after the agenda items have been read. The second item on the agenda deals with the re-election of Dato' Kong Soy Lin, who retires in accordance with Article 97 of the company's constitution, and being eligible, has offered herself for re-election as the director of the company. Her profile is set out on page 87 of the annual report. Dato' Kong has undergone the relevant performance evaluation, including a fit and proper assessment of the financial year under review. Upon assessment by our Governance, Nominating and Remuneration Committee, we found that Dato' Kong has remained committed to her role and continue to be effective and valuable member of the board. The third item on the agenda deals with the re-elections of directors who retire by rotation in accordance with Article 91 of the company's constitution and being eligible have offered themselves for re-election. As I am one of the directors standing for re-election, I shall now hand over the chair to Dato' Karunakaran to conduct the proceedings for this agenda item. Dato'.
Thank you, Tan Sri Chairman. The directors who are standing for election today at this AGM are Tan Sri Peter Chin and Mr. Lee Yao Seng. Both Tan Sri Peter and Mr. Lee have undergone the relevant performance evaluation, including a fit and proper assessment for the financial year under review. Upon the assessment conducted by our Governance, Nominating and Remuneration Committee, we have concluded that Tan Sri Peter and Mr. Lee have demonstrated their effectiveness and value as members of the board, and that they continue to show their commitment to their roles. The profiles of Tan Sri Peter and Mr. Lee Yao Seng are set out on pages 84 and 85 of the annual report, respectively. I shall now hand over the chair back to Tan Sri Peter to continue with the rest of the agenda items. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dato' Karu. The fourth item on the agenda is to approve the payment of directors' fees, including the board committee's fees and Group Sustainable Steering Committee's fees of Ringgit Malaysia 1.46 million for the financial year ending 30th June 2023, payable quarterly in arrears after each month of completed service of the directors during the financial year. Please note that the proposed fees include the amount receivable by Dato' Kong during the period from 16 February 2022, which is the date of her appointment, until 30th June 2022. Given that her receivable fees for this period were not contemplated during last year's AGM, we wish to seek our shareholders' approval this round on this amount, in addition to the proposed fees for all directors for the next financial year. As for the Group Sustainability Steering Committee's fees, these fees will be payable to Dr. Kalaniti in her capacity as a member of our Group Sustainability Steering Committee. The fee structure is disclosed on page 106 of the annual report under the Corporate Governance Overview Statement. The fifth item on the agenda is to approve the payment of directors' benefits other than directors' fees of up to 280,000 ringgit Malaysia for the period from 31st October 2022 until the next annual general meeting. The directors' benefits payable for the said period comprise meeting allowances, insurance coverage, and golf privilege benefit for independent non-executive directors. Let us now proceed with the sixth item on the agenda, that is, to reappoint BDO PLT as auditors for the financial year ending 30th June 2023 and to authorize the Audit and Risk Management Committee to fix their remuneration. This resolution is proposed by the board based on the recommendation by our Audit and Risk Management Committee, having been satisfied with the results of the annual assessment of BDO. BDO has expressed their willingness to continue in office. Next, the proposed ordinary resolution under agenda item 7.1 is to seek renewal of a general mandate which if passed, will empower the directors to allot and issue shares of not more than 5% of the total number of issued shares of the company for such purposes as the directors considered would be in the interest of the company. This resolution is also to seek shareholders' approval for the company's disapplication of statutory preemption rights under the Section 85 of the Companies Act 2016. To allot new shares or to grant rights over shares without first offering them to the existing shareholders in the proportion to their holdings pursuant to the general mandate. I shall take the text of the resolution in the notice of meeting as having been read. For shareholders' information, the company did not issue any new shares pursuant to Section 76 of the Companies Act 2016 under the general mandate, which was approved at last year's AGM of the company. Moving on to item 7.2 of the agenda, the proposed ordinary resolution is to seek renewal of the authority for the company to purchase up to 10% of the total number of issued shares of the company. The details of the proposed renewal of existing shares buyback authority are stated in Part A of the circular to shareholders dated 30th September 2022. I shall take the text of this resolution in the notice of meeting as having been read. Item 7.3 on the agenda is to seek approval from the shareholders for renewal of the shareholders' mandate for the recurrent related party transactions of a revenue or trading nature, which are necessary for day-to-day operations involving the interests of directors, major shareholders, or persons connected to the directors and or major shareholders of the company and its subsidiaries. I shall take the text of the resolution in the notice of this meeting as having been read. The interested directors, interested major shareholders, and persons connected to them are set out in Part B, Section 12 of the circular to shareholders, issued on the 30th September 2022. These interested parties, together with persons connected to them, shall abstain from voting on this resolution. Item 8 on the agenda is to transact any other business of which due notice shall have been given. I have been informed earlier by the company secretary that we have not received any notice to transact any other business at this AGM. Dear shareholders, we will now address the questions received from the Minority Shareholders Watch Group. Let me invite our Group Managing Director and Chief Executive, Dato' Lee, to present our answers to MSWG's questions.
Thank you, Tan Sri Chairman. So for this question and answer session, I will require the Company Secretary's assistance to read out the questions, and then I will answer the questions after that.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. On the first questions, on 30th May 2022, IOI Pelita Plantations in Berhad signed a final landmark settlement agreement with the native communities in Sarawak to relinquish 4,615 hectares of land, which will subsequently be gazetted by the Sarawak government as a native communal reserve for agricultural use by the affected communities. The land dispute matter is officially declared closed by the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil Complaints Panel, page 65 of the annual report. Yeah. With IOI Pelita Plantations relinquishing 4,615 hectares of the land, what is the financial impact to the group?
Okay, thank you. So this, so the 4,608 hectares of land are unplanted land. So the value of it is not much. And moreover, in previous years, we have also written down the value of that to around 3.7 million ringgit. 3.7 million ringgit. So part of it has been written down in the previous year, some 3.2 million, and the balance 500,000 will be written down for this the financial year 2022. So it's that's all. Thank you.
I move on to question 2. The lower FFB productivity and FFB use are primarily impacted by the shortage of skilled harvesters as more workers requested to repatriate to their home country, page 66 of the annual report. To date, to what extent has the group's labor shortage issue normalized? How far off is the group from addressing its labor needs?
Okay, to those of you who are not aware, actually the screen on at the side there contains the questions and answers as well. So actually in Sabah, where we have 2/3 of our plantation hectarage, since the reopening of the border in April, May this year, actually we have managed to more or less get the required number of workers that we need. Perhaps in some estates the shortage is about 5% or 10%, which we can cope. That's in Sabah. But in Peninsular Malaysia, so where there is the government exercise a greater control of intake of foreign workers. So this, indeed, we still haven't gotten all the foreign workers that we require. So we require about 3,200 workers. We have applied for that, and 2,300. And of that, 800 workers have already come in. So 800 workers have come in, and we expect in the next 3 months another 1,500 workers to come in. So that would, of course, leave a balance of about 800 workers, which is not maybe we'll get it later. But overall, with this 800 plus 1,500 to become, which will make up to about 2,300 workers, it will be sufficient for us to overcome our labor shortage situation. Thank you.
Move on to the question 3. Germany's high dependence on Russia for natural gas supply create a high risk of productions, downtime or interruptions. And both the group production site in Winton and Wittenberg are not equipped with any alternative source of heating or steam generations. The group's European operations will have to endure the soaring natural gas costs, which you can find on page 78 and 79 of the annual report. The Russia and Ukraine war has created long-lasting interruptions of energy supply to Germany. To what extent has the Germany energy crisis affected the group operationally and financially?
Okay, so the big picture is that our German oleochemical business contributes less than 4% to our group overall operating profit for the last financial year. But nevertheless, what is said in the questions are all correct. So it is so the energy crisis situation in Germany is indeed very serious. So the government has been planning all sorts of scenario to anticipate the shortage of the energy. So rationing is also part of the consideration, energy rationing, part of the consideration in the scenario planning. But nevertheless, we also know that the German government recently has also stated that they have been accumulating natural gas inventory, which they are confident will last them through the winter period. Thank you.
I move on to next questions. According to the Age Markets articles on 30th September 2022, Nestle has pledged to cut ties with an Indonesian palm oil supplier accused of land rights abuses and environmental harm. The Swiss company instructed its direct vendor to ensure that the palm oil from 3 entities linked to Astra Agro Lestari Tbk does not enter his supply chain in the future. In light of the Nestle pledge to cut ties with an Indonesian palm oil supplier, are there any opportunity for the group to capitalize on?
I think the group is very fortunate that we already supply almost managed to sell all of our certified palm oil, the RSPO certified palm oil. So I think through our associate company, Bangi Loaders, we are the largest seller of certified palm oil in Europe. So already, since this is our CSPO, certified palm oil, sales volume is already mostly committed. So we don't really expect a big push from this Nestle announcement. But nevertheless, we always will try to improve our customer relationship with the multinational customers. So Nestle is certainly one of them, and we do sell some to them, but we will try to keep in a balance of volume to various multinational customers. Thank you. No, there's the...
Yeah.
Some more?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Dato' Lee, for answering those questions from MSWG. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we shall respond to questions relating to the agenda items that are tabled at this meeting. We shall first address questions which are pre-submitted by our shareholders prior to today's meeting. After that, we will answer questions received from online meeting platform, followed by questions from the floor. I shall now call upon our company secretary to read out the questions posed by our shareholders.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. These pre-submitted AGM questions from the shareholder. Number one is, I read it out here. The government has imposed a 45 hours work week. What impact does this policy has on the company's new employees? And subsequent questions follow through this is that, does the company apply this policy to all full-time employees, including general workers, supervisors, executives, managers and top management.
Thank you. I think this refers to the amendment to the Employments Act, which the government has announced that the implementation will be deferred to 1st January next year. So what is stated in the question is correct. So government is going to reduce the work week from 48 hours, I believe, to 45 hours. Because the impact, and also another thing is that it will also affect, instead of just affecting employees earning below 2,000 ringgit, it will now affect a larger group of employees, namely those earning below 4,000 ringgit. So the impact will be twofold. One is so of course due to reduced hours, the overtime rate will be increased by about 7%. And secondly, it will affect a larger group of workers, employees. So in terms of the impact to the group as a whole, for the head office, we hardly have overtime because people are expected to work hard. So no overtime is hardly people claim overtime. But for the plantation in the operating units, again also for the number of workers, overtime is very low. And we expect the impact, the incremental impact of this 48 to 45 hours to be about 200,000 ringgit for plantations and a month. And then for the manufacturing, it will be around 500,000 ringgit. Because manufacturing has got more people who work on shifts in the factory environment. Because factories have to be operated on a 24 hours, 7 days basis. So therefore, they have higher overtime. So overall, it's about 700,000 ringgit a month when it's implemented in January. So I think...
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
The subsequent three questions actually are relating to the door gift. I will group it together and just share with the shareholders that during the pandemic, no door gift has been distributed for the past 2 years. Will there be additional door gift this year?
So can read some more? So,
okay, probably I can take it on these questions. For last 2 years, yes, we did not give any door gift. For this year, because the AGM is conducted in the hybrid format, and with this physical present shareholders today, you have also collected your packed lunch prepared for you. And for virtual shareholders, we still encourage you to engage with the companies. Although for those physically present, they have received the packed lunch. This is also one of the incentivize for them to travel or from their homes come to our office at Putrajaya. Yeah, thank you.
I think there are quite a number of questions about door gifts, which is, I think, in line with previous years. So let me try to give a more sort of comprehensive response to it. So, okay, so after 2 years of virtual meetings, this is the first time we are organizing a hybrid meetings. Actually, there were quite a lot of technical issues that the company secretariat have to overcome in order to organize this hybrid meeting, taking care of both the engagement of our shareholders virtually and also those who attend physically. So I think they were quite preoccupied with that, and also we decided that this year and probably for subsequent years, we are not going to sort of divert our time towards thinking about what door gifts to give, and then also setting out how to give all these door gifts to the various shareholders. Because as is noted in previous years, so there were always questions about whether proxies get 1 or 2 sets or that kind of thing. So we decided that we should not deal with these questions on almost in every shareholders' meetings. Also, the group has been practicing a no-gift policy since a few years ago. So under this, the Anti-Corruption and Money Laundering Act. So we have not been buying gifts for our guests or whoever, our visitors. So I think our people are also at a loss what gifts to buy. Finally, I think when shareholders ask what is the benefit to shareholders, so to me, I think the most important rewards for the shareholders should be the dividend. So as has been stated in the last, just now in the presentation just now, for financial year 2022, so the group has given out 870 million ringgit, 870 million ringgit as dividend. So this is probably, we are probably in among the top 10 companies in Bursa Malaysia, listed Bursa Malaysia, who, in terms of our size of our dividend. So the dividend rate is 14 cents, and that is 30% higher than previous year. So you take example, if you are holding 5,000 shares in a company, so for financial year 2022, you would get about 700 ringgit dividend. So 700 ringgit, and this will be 200 ringgit more than the previous year. So for me, I think this is my personal stand, that so I would not want to use the door gift as the sort of inducement for shareholders to come. I believe the interested shareholders should come because they are interested to attend the meeting. They are concerned about the affairs of the company. So in terms of the money that we spend on AGMs, actually we do spend a lot of money in order to provide a good environment for the AGMs. So that's why we have meetings in these very nice hotels, and then we provide refreshment and also packed lunch for the attendees, together with complimentary parking. So in the past, we have been spending more than 200,000 ringgit on AGMs. So this year, because of the lower attendance, so we probably spend about 150,000 ringgit. So it's still so that is what we believe, that this is money well spent in order to provide a good environment for the shareholders to come. So this is our stand, and thank you.
Thank you. We have a next question from the shareholders, Mr. Kao. Can the company buy back its shares to retain its treasury shares without based on shares prices as the considerations? What is the purpose of share buyback and the value of share buyback?
Okay, don't quite understand the question without, but I just answer it as a general. So we only exercise the power to share buyback only, I would say, judiciously. That means in a prudent manner. Therefore, as you can see, the average share price that we have been buying back shares at would be 3 ringgit 74 cents. So today, I think we are having share price of 4 ringgit and 5 cents. So that is how we are conducting our share buyback, and so as has been explained earlier. So so far we have used up about 134 million ringgit in buying back about 35 million shares at the 375 level. And the purpose of the buyback, of course, is because when you buy back the shares at low value, those shares are no longer entitled to dividend. So therefore, of course, the benefit to the shareholders is, of course, when the share price is low, when we buy back, that of course help to stabilize the share price and even increase it. But Secondly, is also that the more dividend will be able to be distributed to the shareholders as a result of the buyback of the shares, which will be kept as treasury. Thank you.
Question 6. How extensive are the mechanizations applications in the estate, and how much improvements can be seen in your man-to-land ratio?
Okay, I think I misdirected you a bit. I think everyone is looking at the side there. And I didn't realize there's also a screen up on top there. So you can also look at the screen up on top behind me. Okay, I would say a quite comprehensive question that requires a bit of elaborate answer from me. So, of course, since in 2020, even before the pandemic started, the start of 2020, so we have already recognized that our dependence on foreign labor, especially the manual labor, and so we have already started a 5-year plan to accelerate our mechanization so that we can reduce the man-to-land ratio. So, of course, a few months later, pandemic struck. Indeed, the scenario that we have worried about in fact came, and in fact was even worse than what we envisaged. So we had a shortage, a very serious shortage of workers more in Peninsula. Workers in Peninsula, about 35 to 45%. 35 to 45% at the beginning of this year. So indeed quite serious. So, but of course we don't just take this situation lying down. So we have accelerated our mechanization effort to overcome this labor shortage issue. So in terms of mechanization, there are a few aspects to it. So that's why I say it need a bit of explanation. So there is the mainline evacuation, where we, instead of manually loading fruits from roads to the tractors or the lorries, so now we use mechanization to do it. So that we call it mainline evacuation. For that, we have already implemented more than half in our total planted areas. And at the end of this coming financial year, that means June next year, we expect almost 70% of our estates to have mechanized mainline evacuation. So apart from that, there's this within the field, within the plantations, also evacuation. That means from the bottom of, after harvesting the fruits from the bottom of the trees, you want to take the fruits to the roadside. Again, this can be very manual. So to that extent, we also have tried to mechanize by deploying a lot of a few types of equipment. We have the power barrow, we have the with engine, and then we have the battery power barrow, and then we have the driven one. We call it mechanical buffalo. So all sorts of things. And that, I would say, is we managed to only implement in about 25% of our estates. Then apart from that, there's spraying. There's this chemical spraying and fertilizer manuring. So that, I would say, also around 25% that we have mechanized. But, however, the most highly skilled or toughest job, that is to harvest fruits from tall palms. When you say tall palms, it can be 30 feet, even up to 40 feet. So that, unfortunately, we could not mechanize. Shorter palms, we can use a motorized palm cutter. Shorter palms is like 10, 15 feet, below 10 years old. So that we can use mechanical cutter, machine mechanized cutter. But those above 10 years old, we still need, that part of harvesting cannot be mechanized. So if you ask me what is the overall effect of all these measures that we are doing in terms of the man-to-land ratio. So the man-to-land ratio that because for the group and for our group and also as an industry, we have sort of progressively increased it over time. Increase it meaning that one man can handle more, a wider, bigger area of land over time. So we have been on, I think the industry average is 1 man to 8 workers, 1 man to 8 hectares, 1 man to 8 hectares. So we have actually, today because of a shortage, we have 1 man to even 17 hectares in our peninsula estates. So you can see there's a very big shortage. So I would say with all the mechanization initiatives, I would say I can progress from 1 to 8 to 1 to 12 hectares. So that actually is also quite significant. That means it will be resulting in about 33% saving in our manual labor deployment. So, but of course in the process, so that is a net effect, but in the process actually we also added a few more workers. So for example, we'll employ more workers to do to man the electronic, we call it electronic plantation monitoring device, using mobile apps to monitor all the crops that's being harvested. So that is sort of a more high value job that Malaysians would take on, and there we actually employ a few more workers in each estate. So the net effect is, as I said, about 33% reduction in workers that I think can be achieved due to the various mechanization initiatives that we have been implementing. Thank you.
All right. Move on to the last question that pre-submitted before the AGM. What is the percentage of foreign workers and how the company is being affected by the shortage of workers?
Yeah, so percentage of foreign workers is about 90%, and that's workers. So, but of course, if you look at the total, which includes the supervisory and staff and etc., so the percentage reduces to maybe around 70%. How the company has been affected by shortages of workers, I think already explained. So, in the earlier presentation, so we do have some crop losses. I would say 5 to 10% crop losses that we suffer, and also the deterioration in crop quality. That means because of the long harvesting interval, so a lot of bunches that we harvest are actually overripe or rotten, so resulting in high fatty acid in our crude palm oil. So that is also another issue, deterioration in oil quality besides the quantity. Thank you. So that is those that have pre-submitted. But today we have also shareholders who submitted online, even while we speak just now during the last 1 hour. So I will go through them, and are you able to read out the questions, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. These questions are from our shareholder Muhammad Faiz. Auditor financials on their financial statement in the business operations category. What are the IOI unique cost of productions for FY 2022 and a expected increase in cost for next financial year and FY 2023?
So our unit cost of production for FY 2022 would be around 1,900 ringgit. Okay, and again, you see, different figures are being given, so I want to be very clear in what I said. So the 1,900 ringgit is only for production, but we have another term we call cost of sales. So for plantation, actually, we are in quite a high tax environment. So besides our cost of production, we also pay various levies and sales tax, and also so the levies will be windfall profit levy. So in the last 1 year, So the amount of this extra costs from levies and sales tax in Sabah would be around 350 ringgit per ton of our crude palm oil. So therefore, 350 to 400. So therefore, our cost of sales can amount to nearly 2,300 ringgit. Expected increase in cost for FY 2023, it will be so the cost of production will increase by about 100 ringgit because a lot of the cost increase has happened in the year just past. So that will put it to around 2,000 ringgit. I do not know yet what is the levy or the impact of the levy and all that that will be coming, but it will be less than the year before because the levy depends on the price. So the price is lower because the levy and sales tax will be lower accordingly. Maybe it will be another 250 ringgit per ton. Thank you.
I move on to next questions from these shareholders. Mr. Kao, if CPO price go down again, how will the companies overcome losses?
So CPO price has to go down to 2,000, as I said earlier, to below 2,200 ringgit for the group to have losses. So indeed, I don't see it happening yet because we are still at around 3,800 to 4,000 ringgit a ton. So, but whatever is, we as always we try to maintain, because CPO is a commoditized product. So what we can do is to maintain a very efficient production cost structure. So in the past, I think because our relatively high yield, so we have been known to be one of the most efficient palm oil producers in the country, and that includes, of course, our production costs. So we shall strive to maintain that in going forward. But it is getting to be tough because of the labor shortage. So we have to still put on a lot of mechanization, which actually increase our costs. And also we also of course you also heard about the fertilizer cost, which has increased tremendously, maybe 2 to 3 times in the last 2 years due to the Russian conflict. And also because of labor issue, or the concern about labor rights. So the group has also spent a lot of money in improving the facilities for the workers. So all these have resulted in increase in cost, but I think this will stand us in good stead as a sustainable palm oil producer that has got enduring relationship with multinational customers globally. Thank you.
Yeah. I've moved on to our shareholders, Liu Tak Wai. Can we refer to the page 85 of this financial report? That is reading the notes 38.1.3, sensitivity analysis on a foreign currency risk. It is disclosed that 1,000 pips increase in foreign currency rate will decrease the profit of the group by approximately 85.1 million. Question number 1 is 1,000 pips is equal to 1% increase in the interest rate? Question 2, since the previous financial year ended 30th June 2022, the US interest rate has increased by more than 2%. Based on the sensitivity analysis, what will be the impact on the group's profitability? Third questions, what has the group done to mitigate the US interest rate increase as it has substantial USD borrowings?
So for that, I think I'll invite the Chief Financial Controller to answer. KB.
What's the question? Can you flesh out the question again?
Can you flesh out the questions?
Yeah.
Okay, for question 1, you're talking about 1,000 pips. Actually, this page 85 is in relation to foreign currency risk, not interest rate risk. So when we say 1,000 pips, actually like 10 cents against foreign currency. Let's say US dollars is currently at let's say 460. So if it goes to 470, that is the 10 cents is 1,000 pips. So page 85 is FX, not interest. So question 2, since the previous financial year increase, so you're talking about interest rate sensitivity. Actually, it's on page 90. It's on item 38.2.3 at the last page of the annual report. So just to extract for this 38.23 sensitivity on interest rate. So for the group, if let's say it's a 0.5% increase in interest rate, our profit, or rather the impact, will be about 300,000 ringgit. So for question 3, so US interest rate has increased. For this itself, right, most of our actually long-dated borrowings are in fixed rates. So that's why when we look at the interest rate sensitivity, it's very small impact. So that is where, I mean, we have also did a refi for our 600 million ENTN last year, so to 300 million. So there's a fixed rate. Then we were doing about 3.225%. So based on today's rate, it's more than about 4.4 or 4.5%. So that's actually a 2% savings, if you may.
Okay. Next question, please.
Okay. I will move on to this next question from the same shareholders. Mangi Lotus Collins BLC pay a total 298.5 million in dividends for FY 2022, which was substantially higher than in FY 2021 of 43.8 million. Note 17 of page 46 of the financial report. Question 1, what are the reasons for the huge increase in dividends received from BLC in FY 2022 versus 2021? Question 2, is BLC expected to maintain the quantum of dividend based on its performance in current financial year?
So the reason for the huge increase is very simple. So normally, I think before that, we only receive dividend of about 25 million to 30 million ringgit. So that year, we get almost 300 million ringgit. That's because there was an extraordinary gain from the group in disposing of their refinery in Rotterdam. So that is actually our share of the gain from the disposal of the refinery, that refinery. So naturally, we don't expect the same quantum anymore, and I expect about 25 to 30 million ringgit a year going forward.
All right, thank you. We move on to next questions. Realized fair value loss on derivative financial institutions increased by 1.2 billion in FY 2022 versus 859.1 million in FY 2021. Question 1, what are the main reasons for the huge realized fair value loss? And question 2 is this realized fair value loss a cash flow item? Third question, based on the depreciation of a ringgit versus a USD and the spike in overall interest rate, will the group expect similar fair value loss in FY 2023?
Yeah, the KB Kong will answer the question.
Okay, this derivative realized loss is actually mainly from our sales. So we do forward sales, and if you're on a rising market trend, there's always a laggard in terms of prices. So that's why when let's say example we hedge at 4,000 ringgit per metric ton, then when the price let's say delivery for forward 3 months forward, but then 3 months forward it could have raised to 5,000. So that is a 1,000 actually like a opportunity loss that you have. But in accounting, you have to capture this 1,000 loss by firstly, when you recognize your revenue, you will be at higher, which is at 5,000 ringgit per metric ton. So this is where the opposing entry that you need to reduce the selling price from 5,000 to 4,000. So it's net actually is 4,000 ringgit per metric ton. So that's the reason why you can see that's quite a huge realized loss.
I think the other part is the forex exchange. So our downstream manufacturing, we don't take a position on currency risk. So when we sell a product and we expect to get the US proceeds, say in 3 months' time, we have already locked in the US dollar rate. But as you all know, US dollar has been increasing. So actually we have been also suffering losses on that front in terms of our loss on derivative forex instruments. So, but nevertheless, it is when you translate back to ringgit, our margins have always been protected. So, based on the depreciation of ringgit, the third question, depreciation of ringgit versus USD spike in overall interest rates, would the group expect similar fair value loss? So, currency is one item that, in spite of my one hour of reading of financial news every day, I'm afraid I still often get it wrong. And I would say a lot of so-called experts also get it wrong. So I would not want to speculate on how it would be, but you all know that US dollar has indeed strengthened a lot against ringgit. So on the one hand, so if that happens, it will still result in fair value loss for our forex hedging. But on the other hand, people also, of course, also say that, on the other hand, because we are export-oriented company, so our prices of products, when denominated in ringgit, will, of course, also increase. So we have both gain and loss in that respect. But I would say more gain than loss. Thank you.
I move on to the ESG questions. On the US CBP issue, the verifications of findings were recently approved by the board in late August. Has the findings been shared with the US CBP, and if so, has the US CBP responded?
Yeah, indeed. We have shared the report with the US CBP in late part of September. So there is no response from CBP. In fact, this is not the first time we are given them a report. So even last year, there was a preliminary report which we have submitted at the end of last year, around November. And this is the second one. That is a verification report. So we still keep engaging. And so to us, our feeling is that if there's no news, it's good news. So we don't want to keep on prodding them and ask them, give us an answer, then I think that would not be wise. But nevertheless, we have been engaging with them and giving them all sorts of information to explain and to negate any accusation that we are engaging in forced labor practices at all. Thank you.
Yeah, move on to the next question on the cost of the AGM. Yeah. How much it costs for this hybrid AGM compared to last year virtual AGM and the previous past physical AGM?
So I've already answered that earlier.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you.
It's also relating to the AGM. Probably I'll read it up. This year is the first year recovery from pandemic hybrid AGM. The past few years, cost saving from the physical meeting is used budget to which segment? How was board and members moving forward meeting directions? Is remain hybrid? What would company moving forward utilize for in-house meeting too? For long distance meeting, for example, other country or stages?
Yeah. So we are trying out with this hybrid meeting just now in the toilet. So I got feedback, as is people like to give feedback in the toilet also. So I got feedback. I say very good. You have hybrid meeting this year for the shareholders who are not so inclined on the internet. So we will probably, I will probably still recommend to the board member, if the pandemic situation continues as it is or improve from now, to have this hybrid meeting format. And okay, so and cost saving from this, do we put it to another budget? Actually, we don't operate like this. We don't say that because there's a budget and there's a saving, so we must try to spend the money elsewhere. So we save it, we save it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I move on to the question on the operations. There's any new emerging plantations from overseas to getting more profit revenue, example Indonesia or Manila?
So Indonesia, we have already presence. Of course, but Indonesia, a lot of the plantations for sale have got social issues, social conflict issues, or land issues on deforestation, etc. So we are very careful in that, and so far we have not found any suitable land parcel in Indonesia that we can consider acquiring. And I would say we are not actively looking also at that. And so other countries, we are not looking at it at all, because most of the time they are not suitable, either because of the social situation or the agronomic situation, conditions. Thank you.
I go to next question on the resolution 7. This is regarding the authority to allot shares up to 5% of the total issued share capital. The allotment will whether it will result in the share value dilutions.
Yeah, we will not do that. So because this is a flexibility that the directors, the board members, or the management decide that we want to have, and it's only 5%, even though in the SC they allow up to 10%. So this we will only, and to me our share capital is already quite fairly good size. We have enough capital, so we don't need to issue private shares to raise money. However, we want the flexibility is because in certain M&A situation, there may be a request from the vendor, seller, for us to issue shares in exchange for the shares, in exchange for the price consideration. So in that respect, so we would. That's why we wanted that flexibility. And certainly, when we issue shares, we don't want to issue shares when it's at a discount or when share price is low, because so that would be the thing. Because that would not be wise for the directors to do so, to issue shares which would dilute the existing share price. So whatever we acquire, if it's a good income generating asset, the value adding asset, I think it will only be benefiting to the share that we have, and also, if at all, to be issued, if at all.
All right. Okay. I'll move on to the last questions from the online meeting platform relating to resolution number 8 on the share buyback. How many shares were purchased back in the last financial year? And number 2, at what average price that we were bought? And number 3, what would the board plan to do with the treasury share held in hand currently?
So the first 2 questions have already been answered. The third question, what do we plan to do? So our normal practice actually is to cancel off the shares after keeping a certain amount of it, sizable amount of it over a period of time. Our normal practice is to cancel the shares, but we have not deliberated on this yet. Thank you.
It's okay.
Thank you, Dr. Lee and Vincent, for carrying on this session regarding pre-submitted and off-site online questions. If there are no further questions, we will now receive questions from the floor. Kindly make your way towards any of the microphones to post your questions. For record purposes, please state your full name before asking your questions. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Very good morning. My name is Tek Hong. Surname Lee.
Lee Tek Kok.
Lee Tek Hong.
Hong, yes.
Yes, correct. Okay. Just one thing before I ask my question. So maybe just a suggestion to the board of directors for IOI properties. Can we do it hybridly also? Okay. Now I have a few questions. So, but I think some of the question is already asked. Firstly, is regarding the labor shortage. I think it's already answered, so it's okay. So my next question is, in the annual report, right, I saw that there's around capital commitment of around around 900 million, and the CFO presentation of capex of around 400 million. So is there any, out of the total amount there, right, is there any plan to digitalize the plantation business and resolve probably the possibility or probability of the tree go sick from the Ganoderma diseases? Because I just now CEO said a very good point, which is the using electronic devices into monitoring of those trees. So I have one suggestion. Maybe in the future you can use drone shots to capture the image of the vast majority of the plantation, and based on the drone shots and see whether how likelihood is the trees is go sick or is the tree is healthy or not. Because with this, I believe this can reduces quite amount of your labor shortage issue. Yeah. And next question is, what is the reason for the increase in the discount rate in page 37 of the financial report? Maybe CFO can answer lah. Okay. Next question is regarding the hedging, but I think just now it's already answered. And my next question is, I saw that the OER yield seems to be decreasing. If I remember correctly, I think from the past years, your OER is quite high. And when I saw the annual report just now, the OER around 21.5, if I'm not mistaken. So is there any steps taken to resolve it in terms of if your OER, your seats is not that premium or not that high yield? So can your R&D department or the R&D sites think of ways to improve the yields? If the yield is not good, maybe you can consider your replantation exercise, put it a stop first. When the R&D can come up with a better yields, then replant again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. I will, since those questions are operational, I leave it to the group MD and maybe the chief CFO to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you, Tek Hong. Yeah, not related to me, Tek Hong. Okay. All right. So just now you mentioned about capex. First question on capex. So 900 million you saw was actually the budget. That is the disposal. When we sold the loaders in 70% in 2018, so we say we allocate 900 million towards for future new acquisitions. So that is the 900 million that I think you were mentioning. So I think to that we spend, because this is only for new acquisitions. So for that I think we have spent 350 million to date. So but annual capex that we spend every year, as the CFO has just presented just now is 450 million ringgit. And you talk about digitalization. Indeed, actually, we started that in 2018. So we implemented the ERP system in our plantations. So before that, in downstream manufacturing, we have implemented this SAP, this German system, in our downstream manufacturing. But for plantations, we only did that in 2018, and it was completed last year. It took 3 years because it actually was a very huge undertaking. So we have to digitalize 105 operating units, estates, mills, research centers, tissue culture, etc. And then that involved more than 2,000 users, and across 170,000 hectares of land in Malaysia. So you can imagine some of them are also remote. So you can imagine the task that there's the enormity of the task that we have to do for this digitalization. And we are glad that we are happy to say that we have successfully implemented the SAP for the whole of Malaysia, end of last year. And so then you talk about the drones. Indeed, we have also been using drones since about 20 years ago. So early on, it was not called drones, it was called unmanned vehicle, unmanned UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle. So now people call it drones. So to date, I think we have more than around 15 numbers of drones used in both Malaysia and Indonesia. We have been using that for estate boundary surveys, contour surveys, and to denote all the facilities or drains and facilities. So going for disease detection, that is our next direction that we are looking at. But now we are also using it to detect plantation density. So in our replanting, at time we think that we have replanted the areas properly in full, but inevitably there's always dieback of these palms. So we are using drones to actually detect where are the vacant points so that we can supply them. Another area of new application we are looking at in using drones is to apply pesticides. Again, we are using drones. Again, this is limited to immature areas where we have to apply chemicals very often, every month or even every 2 weeks. So we are exploring using drones to do that chemical spraying. So far, I would say it's fairly successful. Next, on the discount rates, why is it increased? There's the discount rate that we use to evaluate our investment. So I ask KB to answer that.
Yeah, the simple answer is the risk-free rate have increased by almost a percentage point, 1% higher.
Okay. The third question is on the OER. Okay, so indeed, it has dropped slightly to 21.5%. I think if Malaysia as a whole, the OER is probably around 19% and below. So we are still quite a bit higher than the national average. But nevertheless, it's a drop. And the reason is not due to what you were speculating, our material. Because the main reason actually is because of rainfall. Rainfall has been very heavy in the last fight for us last year and this year as well. And also, secondly, also the workers shortage. Workers shortage also result in us harvesting palms not at the ripe condition. So it also result in the loss of oil content when it's overripe. So but why I say that it's not because of a material that there's this drop in OER. It's because we have one or two mills that have been receiving majority of our new materials, especially the clonal materials. So one particular mill in near Keratong called Bukit Lilau mill. So we are having OER of more than 24% in most parts of the year, and when rainfall is normal. So that illustrates that the OER, indeed our new material, the OER is very good. And that's not even 100%. It's probably like, the new material is probably like 60% only. So certainly there's a lot of room to improve for our OER, and we will strive to resolve all these issues presented by the high rainfall, etc. And believe with the more workers coming in, we can sort of improve our OER. So I think that's all the questions. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So any more questions from the floor? Yeah, go ahead.
No. Good morning, everyone, and I'm a shareholder named Kaulishi. I'm very impressing of once we enter in the car park using the totally like all new technology without taking a ticket of the things, just capture your car vehicle plate number. In my impression, does a group or company will eventually in the robotic or the managing like without any person to take care of the car parks, or else like the EV vehicle next plan company planning? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dato' Lee.
Okay, you asked about shopping mall car park, because that is not owned by us, the car park. So can't answer that. But I thought they have a ticketless system in the car park already. Yeah. So you can enter in the app. I think what you do is register. You have to pre-register in the app. And not only that, okay, since I'm also a board member of IOI Properties, so we also have got a car number plate detection system using also in the car park system here. That means a lot of times when we forget where we park our car, but because the computer is able to scan our car and also the number plate, so it can tell you which floor or which section is your car park at. So of course, relating it to what we are doing in estates, so certainly we try to do that. So, but from a heavily reliant on manual labor sector, plantations, I think our next stage is mechanization. So we have, in a way, sort of leapfrog that by doing a bit of digitization and automation, as what I've explained earlier. But nevertheless, I think we have to do it progressively. That means we still got to focus a lot on mechanization before going into all these autonomous vehicle, etc.
All right, thank you, Dato' Lee. Any more? No? Okay. Go ahead.
Hello. Allow me to speak in Mandarin, okay?
Yeah.
I'm Guan Yong Gui Deng. Yang Gui Ting. OK， 我不想花时间在这个财务问题，因为我是一个小女子。我注意的财务问题呢，就是从手机上看着 IOI 的股价上或者是下，那么其他的各方面的呢，我不大了解。那么今天我来到 IOI 的股东大会，我曾经参加过几次的股东大会。那么那个时候我看到的是人头汹涌。那么股东来到这里，可能有几个目的。一些呢怀有大志向的，他们会参与财务的辩论，或者呢一些呢就像我小女子来到的是想见见老朋友，看看股东们的脸孔。还有一个目的可能就是为了要享用 Door Gift， 因为从 Door Gift 里面 他们可以去到 IOI Resort 或者是 Meridian 那边去享用1年只有1次的宴会，在那边他们可以和朋友尽情的谈话聊天。那么我想问一下，经过了2年多的 MCO， 今天是股东或者是股东代表或者是 Director Boards 和我们小股东见面的时刻。那么刚才我看到财务报告说通过了不懂1.46.000还是多少的那个开销，那么这些我都不能够记住。既然 Director 他们能够通过这么庞大的支出，为什么可以用说我不想用这个 door gift 来回馈股东？想问，如果是以 Raswa 或者是什么，那么就没有 door gift 这个名称。然后我的想法是，就是区那个 door gift 大概是40或者是50令吉，你们能够令到小股东们或者是 proxy 开心的就在这1年里面享用餐宴，那么何乐而不为？那么如果你说我们今年或者是去年拿到的 dividend 会比较高，那么我想我们拿到的 dividend， 我们是小股东，如果只持有1股也只是那700块，那么请问 Director Board 持有多少股呢？所以我要强调的是，我不懂是不是代表我自己或者是在座各位的股东小股东们发出我们微弱的声音。谢谢。
Okay, so I think for those who don't understand Mandarin, so maybe I just translate a bit the question. So I think the Puan Yong is still, so he said that shareholders come for various purposes. So for some shareholders, they come because they want to ask about the financial situations of the company. But for those smaller shareholders, as she puts it, so they are more interested to come and look at and feel the atmosphere of the AGM, mix around with the shareholders, and also look forward to the door gift. So the door gift will enable them to have a meal in the hotels of Meridian or Marriott. Okay. So that is I think that is essentially what Puan Yong is asking for, the door gift. And yeah, I understand this is a very somehow it's sensitive topic and occupy a lot of time. So again, in the past when we give out vouchers, and that's to the hotel, Meridian or Marriott. Actually, Le Meridian and Marriott no longer belongs to IOI Corporation, by the way. So if we do, so let's say if you do consider giving door gift, it might be to a hotel, or it might be I don't know, some other things, umbrella. Some people will say power charger, all sorts of things. So that is, I think, all the possibilities. So, but again, I think essentially is what we think is the priority. So our priority is to make sure that the AGM is organized in the proper way, and indeed a lot of time has been spent on it. So if we can also look at what's the door gift to be purchased, and in the future, perhaps we will also consider it. Okay. But then we don't want it. And really, I remind the shareholders, even if you have given it in the past, there's also there will be all the issues, questions asked about who gets what, and why 50 ringgit and not 70, and 50 and 7 and how 50 ringgit will get us nowhere, that kind of thing. So I hope that if we do reconsider in the future, and we don't have again another set of questions that come up on these issues during the future meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato' Lee.
Good morning, Chairman, Board of Directors, and fellow shareholders. My name is Chan Lai Yin. We come here, we incurred a lot of expenses, toll charges, petrol charges, and our time spent so that we support your company. So since there are not many shareholders attending this physical AGM, I hope you will give only those who took the trouble to attend this AGM today some sort of vouchers, e-vouchers, or maybe touch and go e-vouchers. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So as I say, we'll consider it for future years. Thank you.
All right. I think we have, if it is about the suggestion on door gifts and so on, I think Dato' Lee has already mentioned his answers, and please wait, don't be disheartened about this issue. We try to accommodate as much as we can, and of course based on good reasons, good reasons why we do certain things. I think this is the board's way of handling matters coming to it over the years. So please bear with us, and we will see what can be done. Okay, if there are no questions relating to the contents of the financial reports as well as our agenda, we will now declare the question and answer sessions closed. We sincerely thank all our shareholders, especially those who have taken the trouble to come here and be with us during this AGM. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now allocate an additional 3 minutes for those shareholders who have yet to vote. We anticipate that the counting of votes and by the poll administrator and validation by the independent scrutineers of the results will take approximately 5 minutes after the conclusion of the voting session. The meeting will resume upon receiving the poll results verified by the scrutineers. Ladies and gentlemen, the 3-minute countdown starts now. If you have yet to cast your votes for the resolutions tabled at this AGM, please proceed to do so now.
How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see
There is more than just one path to success. Many must go their own way and forge their own destinies. Traversing a path of hard work with diligence. Enduring through times of trial and struggle. Learning to persist, to hold on, to never give up. From a spirit of fortitude, rooted in determination, a strong foundation for success is built, growing from strength to strength with perseverance and persistence. From humble beginnings, founded on an unfailing belief in a single commodity, IOI's oil palm plantation business is the heart of our company. With over 230,000 hectares of planted area in Malaysia and Indonesia and still growing, we are one of the largest plantation companies in the country. IOI has grown into a global enterprise, with operations in 8 countries exporting to more than 85 countries worldwide. Our hands-on management and commitment to productivity has led us to being recognized as one of the industry's most cost-efficient palm oil producers. Our relentless pursuit for new opportunities for growth has also made IOI one of the largest vertically integrated palm oil companies in the world. From plantation to downstream manufacturing, our refineries in Malaysia and the Netherlands play an important role in the midstream segment of our supply chain. In the downstream manufacturing segment, we are one of the world's largest oleochemicals and palm-based fatty acid producers, with production facilities in Malaysia and Germany. Our ester plant in Germany is one of the exclusive few in the world which is both GMP certified and US FDA approved to produce chemical ingredients for pharmaceutical application. IOI is also a major global player in specialty oils and fats, with operations in the Netherlands, United States, Canada, Ghana, China, and Malaysia that are carried out by its associate company, Bunge Loders Crocland. Leveraging on its more than 120-year-old history, expertise in lipid solutions, and state-of-the-art facilities, Bunge Loders Crocland delivers reliable and quality products for the global food and infant formula manufacturing industry. IOI believes in the transformative power of technology and progressively invests into research and development to enhance our commitment to quality. IOI Palm Biotech has spearheaded planting material improvements for nearly 3 decades. Its tissue culture laboratory is leading research in high-yielding oil palm clones, boosting its plantation productivity through biotechnology. Continuing our commitment towards R&D and innovation, our downstream manufacturing business has formed collaborations with world-class partners who value our expertise and know-how. Together, we work to create customized and value-added solutions for our clients in unique and specialized settings, such as our creative studios. IOI is led by a loyal workforce from more than 25 countries who strive daily to increase value add and deliver results for our customers and shareholders. Across every division and country in which we operate, we value and promote diversity among our employees. At every level, we are committed to developing our personnel by fostering a healthy learning environment and promoting their career advancement. As a responsible corporation, IOI is mindful of our corporate responsibilities towards our stakeholders and the community. We take pride in our long tradition of implementing sustainable and sound agronomic practices. We also make efficient use of natural resources and minimize the environmental impact of our operational activities through various energy-efficient and waste reduction measures. As a founding member of the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, IOI leads the way in adhering to the highest standards for sustainable palm oil production and in promoting the use of sustainable palm oil around the world. We also strive to build a reliable and traceable palm oil supply chain for the benefit of our customers across the globe. Our consistent efforts in sustainability and good management practices have been well recognized in the industry and accorded many prestigious accolades. While we have made great strides in growing our business in a sustainable and responsible way, we believe in continuing and increasing our efforts towards excellence in everything we do. We strive for a future where IOI steadily expands its reach and increases its value add. A future where we continue to be a crucial presence in the daily lives of people around the world. Fulfilling our purpose for leadership and excellence, we intend to conquer new horizons and forge a better and brighter future for our group. There is more than just one path to success. Many must go their own way and forge their own destinies. Traversing a path of hard work with diligence. Enduring through times of trial and struggle. learning to persist, to hold on, to never give up. From a spirit of fortitude, rooted in determination, a strong foundation for success is built, growing from strength to strength with perseverance and persistence. From humble beginnings, founded on an unfailing belief in a single commodity, IOI's oil palm plantation business is the heart of our company. With over 230,000 hectares of planted area in Malaysia and Indonesia and still growing, we are one of the largest plantation companies in the country. IOI has grown into a global enterprise, with operations in 8 countries, exporting to more than 85 countries worldwide. Our hands-on management and commitment to productivity has led us to being recognized as one of the industry's most cost-efficient palm oil producers. Our relentless pursuit for new opportunities for growth has also made IOI one of the largest vertically integrated palm oil companies in the world. From plantation to downstream manufacturing, our refineries in Malaysia and the Netherlands play an important role in the midstream segment of our supply chain. In the downstream manufacturing segment, we are one of the world's largest oleochemicals and palm-based fatty acid producers, with production facilities in Malaysia and Germany. Our ester plant in Germany is one of the exclusive few in the world, which is both GMP certified and US FDA approved to produce chemical ingredients for pharmaceutical application. IOI is also a major global player in specialty oils and fats, with operations in the Netherlands, United States, Canada, Ghana, China, and Malaysia.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I have received the results of the poll validated by the scrutineers, and we shall now resume the meeting for the declaration of results. The Secretary will announce the poll results on my behalf. May I have the poll results on the screen, please?
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Resolution number 1, we have a resolution percentage 99.89% voted for, against 0.1%. Resolution 2, 99.86% voted for and 0.13% voted against. Resolution number 3, 97.82% voted for, 2.17% voted against. Resolution 4, 99.97% voted for and 0.02% against. Resolution number 5, 99.97% voted for and 0.02% voted against. And resolution 6, 98% voted for and against 1.17%. Resolution 7, 85% voted for and 14.49% voted against. Resolution 8, 99.6% voted for and 0.36% against. Lastly, Resolution 9, 99.96% voted for and with 0.03% voted against. Pass over the chair to the chairman.
Okay, thank you very much, Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the results of the poll, I hereby declare that all ordinary resolutions for today's meeting are duly carried. With that, our hybrid 53rd Annual General Meeting comes to a close. I hereby declare the 53rd Annual General Meeting concluded. Thank you very much. On behalf of the board, we thank you for especially our shareholders, for your attendance and participation, whether you are attending in person or online. We would like to record our appreciation and thanks to Dato' Karuna Karan as he officially retires from the board after 11 years of service as our independent non-executive director. We wish him all the best in his future undertakings. Dear shareholders, once again, thank you and have a great week ahead.